my back is very much broken today. It's broken today and I'm not happy. Okay. Hey, welcome to my video. Today we are doing a March reading wrap up. I feel like I always upload these videos super late because I only post on Sundays, which I'm thinking of changing the day that I post, just because I feel like the algorithm is not there. When I posted on a Wednesday, I got more views on that video than I have on the videos that I post on Sundays. So this might be my last Sunday video. I'm gonna 100% change my channel because it's just not working. I'm not vibing with it anymore and I need a change. So anyways, that's not what this video is about today. But I really want to film this video because if I don't do it today, I'm just not going to do it. So we need to hold myself accountable. Anyways, let's get into all the books that I read in March. March was a hard month for me as far as like reading goes because I didn't really... Why is he barking? Anyways, March was really like a not good reading month for me. I read 6 books. I mean, to some people it's a lot, and it's a lot. It actually is a lot. I don't know why I thought I read less than that, but maybe because majority of them were like super short and I like honestly sped read through one of them. It's just, it was a bad, I think I was in a reading slump and I wasn't willing to accept it. And I think I'm in one again because I just finished a book. It's April now, and I just finished my first book of April, and it was a 5-star, don't get me wrong. But now it's like I don't know what to read next, you know? I know this is not what this video is fucking about. Let's get into the books that I read in March, okay? Just like I always do, I'm gonna give you the books that I read with my rating and kind of like a general non-spoiler synopsis of what the book is about. And if you hear that, it's because my AC's on because it's hot as fuck. Okay, so the first book I read was hot. Anyways, the first book I read is Heartstopper by Alice Osman. And it is a graphic novel, actually. So, you know, graphic novel, like so. This book is basically about Charlie and Nick. Charlie and Nick go to school together. Nick is part of the rugby. He's a rugby. I knew it. I read this in the beginning of March, okay? I kind of forgot. He's part of the rugby team, and Nick is kind of like everyone knows who he is, and I mean Charlie, everyone know who he is. I'm having a really hard time explaining this book. He's like, you know, that popular kid that like everyone knows, but he's like super nice and super like cool with everyone, and he's like the gay guy in school, I guess. Well, he becomes really good friends with Nick, who is, like I said, the star rugby player or whatever, and they become really close. But Nick is like very confused about his sexuality, so he doesn't know like these feelings that he's feeling for Charlie. Are they, you know, for real? Is it something? Is it love? Is it what? Like, what is it? It's weird to him because to him, he's always liked girls. So that's kind of what this book is about. It's just that journey of how their relationship grows, how they like get close and become friends, really good friends. And yeah, just like exploring sexuality and things like that. And I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was really cute. Like, it's a cute little graphic novel, and there's actually, I believe, I want to say 5 or 6, I could be wrong. I know there's plenty of more, I think 5, and it continues with their journey because it kind of leaves off in a little like cliffhanger, and you don't know what happens with them. It doesn't really like close the chapter. So there's 4 other books or 5 other books that kind of explain their relationship further and how it progresses and stuff. Anyways, I gave this book a 4 stars, which is really good because for my first graphic novel that I've ever read, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. The pacing was cute, and just like the illustrations, I just loved it. I just thought it was adorable. And look at this cover, like the pink, the aqua, the teal, whatever color you want to call it. Like, that's totes adorbs. Anyways, really good. And I think I will be picking up the other ones just because I need to know. I need to know. So the second book that I read, I will put it up here because I read it in my Kindle, and it was A Voyeur by Fiona Cole. I gave this book 2 stars. So I liked the concept of the book. Like, let me explain this to you. The book, the book is about this girl. I don't even remember her name. That's how like irrelevant it was to me. And she is like struggling like to pay her tuition for college. She wants to become, I believe, a teacher. I could be wrong. No, a physical therapist. I think, I don't know what she wants to do. She's going to college for fucking something, and her parents do something shitty, so she's like really struggling to like have to pay for her tuition. So she gets a job at this club named Voyeur, and the club, I think it's like a really good, like the story of like what this club is. I think it could have been a good story if it wasn't so like dark, like unnecessary. I just thought it was unnecessary. Everything else, like this, if they just like focused on the club, I think it would have been cool. But the club is basically, it's called Voyeur, and the reason it's called Voyeur because it's basically what you do. You are a voyeur in this club. You see people have, like, you watch people have sex. Like, you basically pay a membership to like go, like to be a member there, and you can select like, oh, I want to see, you know, a guy and a girl have sex. I want to see, you know, a girl masturbate herself. I want to see, like, you can literally choose out of an assortment of things, and then they like take you to a private room where you could be behind the glass or you could be in the room with the person, and you can't touch them. You can only see what they're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all. That's why it was 2 stars, because that premise, I thought it was cool, but it's like they made him so like too dark. Like, they gave him too dark of a background. Like, it just was not necessary in my opinion. And she was kind of annoying, but whatever. I read it. That's all that matters, I guess. I'm just like not in the mood. Am I gonna get my period? I don't know, maybe. Anyways, next book that I read, I was in love with this book, and I was surprised because I didn't like the first one that I read, but it is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I read A Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I honestly hated that book. I thought it was so boring. I didn't hate it, but I just thought it was like really boring. I think I gave it like 3 or 2 stars, because I just couldn't, like, it wasn't, I didn't feel the need to like pick it up and want to read it. But this one is a whole different story. So basically this takes place with Poppy and Alex. I knew his name was Alex, but I just thought that was like too common. Anyways, Poppy and Alex are like really good friends. I forget how they meet. Oh, in college. Anyways, they met in college, and ever since they met, they've always kind of like had a really good relationship, and they like to go on vacation together. They want to experience, you know, the world, and she kind of like loves traveling and wants to become like a travel vlogger and things like that. So he goes along with her, and they just like enjoy these vacations. And I believe it's 10. They've gone on like 10 different vacations, I believe, and then something happens in one of those vacations that all of a sudden it stops. Then it takes place like back in present time, where she wants to go, she reaches out to him and is like, we should go on one last vacation, like one last hurrah to see if like we can salvage, she wants to see if they can salvage their friendship. But everything like literally goes wrong in the vacation, and I honestly loved this book. Like, I loved Poppy and I loved Alex. I just thought that like they were so good together. Like, they just clicked for me. Like, I believed in their relationship and their bond. The only thing is, it has that miscommunication trope, which really pisses me off. I fucking can't stand it. And it has that where they get together and then they break up type of vibe, and I fucking can't stand that either. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed the book. I read it in like 2 days because I just could not put it down. I wanted to know what the fuck happened. But it basically goes like back and forth from like present time to their current vacation to like the past vacation. Then you find out like what happened towards the end of the book to stop them from like going on vacation. I think it was like 2 years that they didn't go on a vacation. But yeah, so I really loved it. I loved the ending. I love how it wasn't your typical like happy ever after type of vibe. It wasn't happy ever after, but it's like, it made you work for it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it was really good. I really liked it. I'm very surprised because, like I said, I did not like Beach Read. Thought it was boring. But this, my guy, was really good. I will definitely be picking up her other books because I told myself if I didn't like this one, then I'm just not going to pick up any of her other books because obviously I'm not vibing with her writing. But that Beach Read must have been just like a miss for me. Just a miss because it was false advertisement. That's why it was false advertisement. But this, loved it. So the next book that I read was All This Time by Nikki, Daughtry, and Rachel Lippincott. I don't know. This, I rated it on Goodreads 3 stars, but now that I'm thinking about it, I want to give it like a 4.5 or a 4. I'm kind of on the fence about that, but this book really shocked me. I did not expect it to do what it did, and I thought it was very creative. I never read a book like that. And yeah, basically it takes place with Kyle and Kimberly, who are graduating high school, and they actually get into a car accident after like this Kimberly drops a bomb on him. They're dating, obviously, they're in love, whatever. She drops a bomb on him and they get in a really bad car accident, and she ends up dying. As I say, yeah, it says she's died. I'm like, did I ruin it? Then he meets a girl named Marley who is suffering from her own loss, and they kind of like help each other get over their losses. And that's all I can say. You need to read this book. I feel like I don't hear anyone talk about this book like ever. I picked this up at Barnes & Noble because I'm like, let me see, you know, it looks cute. I love the cover. Like, this is fucking beautiful. And it makes sense. I love it. But I literally had, from the back, you would know what happens here. You would never, this fooled you. This book was so good because I just did not expect it to do what it did to me, and I was obsessed with it. In the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, it's just a cute little like high school like vibe or whatever. When you get to like, where should I go? So when you get to like this point of, this is the ending right here, chapter 26 and forward, it's like your life gets thrown out the fucking window. Like, it's, oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I really highly recommend this book, just because I feel like it's more than just a romance book. Like, it has no smut in it at all, no spice. So if you're looking for spice, wrong book. But I just thought it was really good. Like, just, that's all I can say. It was really good, and I wish that I can say more. I wish that I can ruin it for you guys, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm not that person. The next book I read, I'll put up here again, it's a Kindle Unlimited book, and it is Complicated Hearts Part 2. I read Part 1 in February, so I wanted to continue Part 2, and I even said in February that I wasn't really into the story, but I needed to know what was going to happen, and 2 stars. 2 stars. The author is Ashley Jade, which I'm mad that I didn't like it because I loved the Royal Hearts Academy like series with like the Cruel Prince and the Ruthless Knight and like the Wicked Princess. Like I loved all 4 of those books. Like they were so good, so good. Obsessed, like obsessed. And she wrote those books, so I thought, like, let me give her as an author a second try with a different series. And the first book was better than the second book, I'll tell you that. Basically it is a reverse harem story, and we take, I don't even know her name, I don't know the guy's, Asher is one of the guys' name, and Connor is the other guy's name. Don't even ask me because I don't remember. But Breslin, I think that was her name. I don't know. Anyways, they the first book basically takes place with her, Asher is her ex who broke her heart in high school, and Connor is the new guy. I don't know if that's his name, but I'm giving him that name. Is the new guy who she's dating, but she leaves him and she's like, you know, don't wait for me. If you find somebody, you know, whatever. And he ends up meeting with Asher, and Asher is bisexual and so is Connor, but he doesn't know it. Anyways, it doesn't fucking matter. They ended up hooking up and getting together, and that's how it ended. The second book. But the first book. The second book basically is a continuation of her like finding out, and then them like, you know, trying to figure out the relationship, because she very much hates Asher still. He broke her heart in a crazy way, which I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like this book, because it really doesn't matter what the premise is. The book was very, very unrealistic, and I know it's a fiction book. Does it have to be realistic? No, it does not. But I just feel like it's okay to like be a little dramatic and get a little like crazy with it, but when you do things that just like would never happen, like in what world? It's just too much drama, like drama after drama after drama. You know what I'm saying? It kind of gets like tiring. I'm tired of taking L's. Can we like get a W? And like it was 100%. The entire book was the miscommunication trope, and every time the person tried to communicate, they were cut off. They were never able to express themselves, and that to me pisses me the fuck off, because it's like I would not grab somebody because that's assault, my brother, but I would like literally yell at your face if you're not listening to me. And I know this is something that will change your mind, because later on when I finally get to fucking tell you, you're gonna be like, why didn't you never tell me? It's because your bitch ass never let me. I would fucking yell at you and be like, bitch, this is why I fucking did what I did, because X, Y, and Z. And if you don't believe me, check this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, the miscommunication drove me crazy. This was the book that I literally like was tapping through. I wasn't even reading all the words. I like scanned, tapped. And then until I got to the point where the communication was finally being made. And let me tell you, that was at like 80% of the book. At the 80% mark, that's when the communication started happening. And that's when it was just too much for me, and maybe I just wasn't prepared for that kind of book. I do remember the Royal Hearts Academy being very dramatic and being very like a lot, and I know that's her writing, but this book just was not for me and won't be for me. So peace out. I can say I read it, but I'll never be reading it again, and I'm glad I never bought it, because yes. Next, the last book that I read in March. Why do I keep flailing my hands in the air? The last book I read in March was actually a random pick. I kind of put numbers in like a little jar because I'm like, I don't know what to read. So I put numbers in a little jar. I have a section in my bookshelf of books that I have not read. So I did that, and I chose this book. I actually chose a book first, and I read like 10 pages, and I was so fucking bored that I had to DNF that book. And then I'm not even gonna talk about it because I literally just got rid of the book, because I'm never gonna read it. But I picked up this one, and it is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. And I never heard of anyone read this book. I mean, talk about this book or anything, and maybe if they did, I don't know. But I give this book 3 stars. I'll tell you why I gave it 3 stars, because I did like it. 3 stars is still a good rating, I think. But basically, this book takes place in the 1970s, I believe. No, yeah, well, 1969 in New York City. And there's 4 siblings. They are Jewish. And they hear about this lady that's in their town who can tell the future. She's like a psychic, whatever. Or she'll tell you when your death date is, basically. So the oldest being 13. Then you have like a 9-year-old and so on and so forth. The youngest, I think, was like 7 or something like that. So 4 of them go see this lady, and she calls them in one by one and tells them their death date. And she's like, don't share it with anybody, and blah, 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 this stuff. So years pass, and it basically breaks it off into sections per child. So basically, like, one of them goes off to San Francisco to, you know, embrace themselves, and this is like in the mid, like, I don't know, I think it was in like in the 80s or the 80s in San Francisco, because he is gay and he wants to like live freely, and he didn't feel like he could do that in New York. Another one wants to be in Vegas and, you know, becomes a magician. The other one becomes a doctor for the military, and then the other one becomes like some kind of scientist who is looking for a cure for anti-aging or some shit like that. But it basically breaks them off through sibling, and it takes you through their journey, and basically from that, like, their time where they're starting their life and their experience till the time they die, I guess. The book was really good. I did not expect that at all. I did not expect to like it at all. But I really liked it. I liked the first 2 siblings the most. I thought their story was very interesting. The third sibling was like meh, and the last sibling was kind of boring. So for the first 2 siblings, that's why I'm giving it a 3 star, because I really enjoyed it and I like could not stop reading it. And then the last 2 siblings were kind of like, I was just reading about their story. They were kind of boring. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed this book. I think that it's a great conversation about, like, would you like if you were to know when you would die, if you chose to know that, would you live your life regularly, like the same path that you would, you know, take if you didn't know? Or would you live your life as freely and as openly as possible because you knew that your time was limited here? I mean, obviously it's, you can, you know, say what you want to say, because I don't know if we can ever know when we're truly gonna die, but it's definitely a conversation piece for sure. And I think also what was interesting was that the lady did give you your death date, but the causes of death in these books were not like just like, oh shit, that came out of nowhere. It was almost like, well, yeah, of course that happens. You know what I'm saying? It almost like, because you knew that was your death date, did you like inflict this upon yourself because of that? Anyways, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was beyond my intelligence for sure, because I don't be reading literary fiction. I mean, no, historical fiction. I don't really read historical fiction. I read a lot of smutty romance, but this was really good, and I, like I said, gave it 3 stars. So yeah, anyways, that's what I read in March. And what did you guys read in March, and what are you guys planning on reading in April? I already finished 1 book in April, and I actually started it in March. This is how bad like my slump was. I started it in March and I just finished it like 2 days ago or yesterday. It was really good. I'm not gonna tell you which one until my April wrap up, but it was really good. So now I feel like I just like, you know, something needs to like level up to it, and right now I'm just like not in the mood to like read, so I'm just not gonna force myself. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this book. Leave any book recommendation. Thank you for watching this book. Thank you for watching this video. Leave any book recommendations that you might have down in the comments about like romance books, or even like thrillers and things that I don't normally read, fantasy books. I want to read more fantasy books. Right now I'm literally stuck on Court of Thorns, the ACOTAR series, and I love it so much. I am on the 3rd book, but I am stalling so hard because I just was obsessed with the 2nd book, and I just like do not want it to end. I don't want to say goodbye to Rhysand, so I'm just stalling, so I'm not reading it yet. But I do want to find another series like that I'm gonna fall in love with. So yeah, anyways, but yeah, so let me know any recommendations that you have. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are not already subscribed. I post videos, well, I'm not gonna say that because we're changing up my channel, but subscribe to see when I'll post videos and the little revamp that we're gonna be doing. Also, it's free, so subscribe. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.